Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Gradeup's BBA Prep channel. Welcome to this series of basic mathematics for the BBA and HM entrance examinations. Okay, so in this series, I'll be taking up some sessions and teaching you the basics of some of the common topics that are tested in the examination. So in the first part of the series, we are going to do probability. Okay, so good evening all. Welcome to this wonderful session. Please do share this session with your friends who are preparing for BBA and HM entrance examinations. Okay, this is going to give you an idea of the type of questions that are asked in the examinations. What are the basics that you must know, right? So in order to crack any examination, any subject, you need to understand the basics, and this series is meant for the same. Okay. So before I begin, just an important announcement that Gradeup is offering some huge discounts on its courses. So we have this offer going on Super Saving March, and if you want to save some money on buying the courses, so we've got flat 30% off plus extra 40% off. So someday I'll ask you this as well, that what will be the discount in this case, right? So wait for that session wherein we shall be discussing about profit, loss, and discounts. Okay, so you can avail this offer by buying our Gradeup Super subscription. You get this discount, so don't miss this offer on this courses. Right, enroll with Gradeup and prepare for the upcoming entrance examinations. Okay. And this is our course that is currently we have for BBA and HM 2021. It's a crash course for all the entrance examinations. We'll guide you through the different examinations, how they are, how is their examination pattern, what are the things that you need to know, and how you need to prepare in a smart way so that you succeed in these examinations. Okay, the enrollments are open, and if you want to prepare with the best people in the industry, you may do so by taking Gradeup Super subscription. All right, so I think you are set for this session. So let's begin today's class, and let's have a look at the questions on probability and start with it. Okay, so one more thing to tell, who are your mentors in this course, right? So we have Sanojam Dasabanta. He's an English expert, over 17 years of teaching experience for various competitive examinations. We have Rabia ma'am, who is GK and current affairs expert, and then we have Ashutosh sir, who is quant and reasoning expert. So these are some of the top mentors that would be teaching you in these courses. They have years of training experience, having trained over thousands of students. Okay, so they will be your mentors in this course. Okay, so let's begin today's session. Let's understand what is probability. Okay, so probability means a chance a chance of some event that has to happen. Okay, so let's take a very simple thing. Okay, let's say there are three balls. Okay, so there is a bag which has three balls. Okay, one is red, one is green, and the third is blue. Okay, so if I pick one ball, okay, if I pick one ball, what is the chance that it will be blue in color? If I pick a ball, what is the chance that it will be blue in color? Okay, so if you see, like suppose if in how many ways can I pick a ball? I can pick the red ball, I can pick the green ball, or I can pick the blue ball. So there are three possible outcomes. Isn't it? Three possible outcomes. Now, what is my favorable outcome? My favorable outcome is the blue ball. Okay, so I just have one favorable outcome, right? So the probability will be 1 by 3, isn't it? So the probability is 1 by 3. So probability is basically the number of favorable outcomes upon the total number of possible outcomes. Right, let's take another example. Okay. Let's take another example. Let's say instead of 4 balls, instead of 3, you had some more balls. Okay, so you have 3 red balls, 2 green balls, okay, and 4 blue balls. Okay, now if I ask you this question, what is the probability of picking a blue ball? Will your answer change now? Of course, it should, right? So now what is the total number of possible outcomes? Either you can pick this ball, this ball, this ball, this. So you have total 3 plus 2 plus 4, 9 possible outcomes. And how many are in your favor? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 out of 9. Okay. So this is what probability is, right? So let's understand some common terms, some very common events that are related to probability, and I'm sure you must have studied all these things, and this is going to give you a brush up of all those facts that you have studied in your school. Okay, so some common events, very common events, right, where you should know things. So a coin has two outcomes. So if you toss a coin, you either get a head or a tail. So there are two outcomes when you toss a coin. Okay. Now talking about dice, how many outcomes does a dice have? A dice will have 6 outcomes, right? Either you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6. And another common event that is generally taught and is asked as well is of cards. Okay. So a card has, there are 52 cards in a pack and there are 4 suits. Okay. So there are 4 suits of cards and you have 13 in each of the suits. Okay, so what are these suits? Let's have a look. We have 4 suits: spade, club, diamond and heart. There are 13 cards in each suit. You have 26 black cards and 26 red cards. Okay, so there are 2 colors, 4 suits. And what are the cards within these? The cards are king, queen, jack. These 3 are called face cards. Okay, then you have ace, and then you have nine numbered cards. Okay, which are 2 to 10. So a total of 13 cards in each suit. So you can remember like this: 9 plus face plus ace, right? And face is jack, queen and king. So these are your list of cards. So you should know these terminologies. What are face cards? Okay, how many cards are there? What are the different types of cards? Like what are the different 4 suits of cards, etc. Okay, so this was a brief. Now let's solve some questions. So the concept is very clear. Total number of favorable outcomes out of the total number of possible outcomes. That's what probability is, right? It's as simple as that. Now let's look at some of the questions and understand it better, right? That will give you a clear picture that how to attempt questions on it. Okay, so I'll be presenting the questions and you please answer in the comments. Okay, let's begin. Here's the first question. Read it carefully and answer. A bag contains 24 balls, out of which some are green and others are blue. If a ball is drawn at random from the bag, then the probability of it being green is 2 by 3. The number of blue balls in the bag is. How do you find the number of blue balls? It's a very simple question. So there are 24 balls and you have green and blue balls. The probability of being green is 2 by 3. So what is probability? Probability is favorable upon total, right? So what is given to you? You're given the probability of green ball, right? So green will be, probability of green will be, suppose n is the number of green balls, okay, upon 24, okay. So we get n is equal to 16. So if there are 16 green balls, how many blue balls would be there? Blue balls will be 24 minus 16, that is 8, right? So there are 8 blue balls. As simple as that, isn't it? So it was a very straightforward, easy question. Let's have a look at the next question. What is the probability that a card drawn at random from a pack of 52 cards is either a king or a spade? I just told you about cards. Okay, I hope you remember it. Or even if you don't, let me tell you that there are four suits. Okay, now you do not have to worry that what is a spade. It is one of the suits. Okay, so you were asked that what is the probability that a card is either a king or a spade. So we saw that there are four suits. Okay, there are 13 cards of each suit. So how many spades will be there? You'll have 13 spades. How many kings would be there? How many kings would be there? So you have one king in spade, right? There will be spade, one king in hearts, one king in clubs, and the fourth king in, you have four suits. So the fourth is the diamond, right? So four kings in four suits. So you have one king here, one king here, one king here, and one king here. So a total of four kings. But you need to make sure that you do not count double. Okay, so if I'm counting these 13 cards, it includes one king, right? There is one king is also present in this. And when I'm counting these four kings, it contains the spade king also, isn't it? So I'm counting this number twice. That should not be done, isn't it? So when I count this twice, I'll subtract 1, and instead of getting 17, I'll subtract 1 and I'll take the number of favorable outcomes as 16. It won't be 17, it should be 16 because I have counted king on both the places, right? So it has to be 16. Okay, so we will take it 16 favorable outcomes out of how many total outcomes? How many cards are there? There are 52 cards. Okay, so the answer should be 16 by 52 or 4 by 13. Right, so your answer will be option B. Some of you might pick 17 by 52 as the answer, but as I told you, you do not have to count double. You have to count just once, isn't it? Because the same king, the spade king is counted twice. So we need to count just once. Okay, so let's proceed to the next question. Vikas has rolled a 6 on each of the 4 consecutive tosses of a dice. What is the probability of Vikas rolling a 6 on the next toss? Okay, so Vikas, maybe he's playing Ludo, he's got 4 sixes in a row, and you have to tell that what is the probability that he rolls a 6 on the next toss. At times, you need to understand things, right? You do not have to apply formulae everywhere. You need to have some common sense as well. Okay. So if you look at this, it is a sort of common sense, and it is also called independent event, right? So when you roll a dice, the outcome is independent of previous results, right? Suppose you are playing some game, okay, and you roll a dice. Is it necessary? Will a toss affect your next toss? No, isn't it? You're not sure. Like whenever you're rolling a dice, it's not that now it will hamper your next outcome, right? The next outcome would be obviously independent, right? So even if he has rolled 4 consecutive sixes, again the favorable outcome would be 1. That is getting a 6 out of 6 total outcomes. Hence the answer would be 1 by 6. So the previous occurrences of sixes won't affect the outcome of the next roll. Next question. Find the probability of selecting a 2-digit number at random such that it should be a multiple of 9. 1 by 10, 2 by 15, 3 by 20, or 1 by 9. whenever you have a question on probability, you need to find two things. First is favorable and second is total outcomes, right? So in this case, what is the number of favorable outcomes? What is the number of favorable outcomes? Okay, so let us look at both the things. So it should be a multiple of 9 and it is a 2-digit number. So what are the 2-digit numbers that are multiples of 9? 18, 27, 36, 45 and so on up to 99. And what are these? This is 9 into 2, 9 into 3, 9 into 4 and so on up to 9 into 11. So if you count these numbers 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 11. So you have 10 numbers. So you have 10 favorable outcomes. And what is the total number of outcomes? We also call it sample space. The term used is sample space. How many numbers do you have? How many numbers are 2-digit numbers? How many 2-digit numbers do you have? How to get that? So I'll tell you how to get the number of 2-digit numbers. So the highest 2-digit number is, highest 2-digit number is 99. What is the highest 1-digit number? That is 9. So you have 90 2-digit numbers. Remember this property. Okay, so whenever you have to find this, that what is the number of 2-digit numbers, if I ask you what is the number of 3-digit numbers, you will say highest 3-digit number minus the highest 2-digit number. Okay. Alright, so there are 90 2-digit numbers. So total favorable outcomes are 10 out of 90, which is 1 by 9. Okay, so your answer to this question is 1 by 9. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. A bag contains 11 blue, 8 red, 12 green and 9 black pens. 25 pens are removed from the bag randomly. How many of the removed pens were green if the probability of drawing a green pen from the bag is now 1 by 3? Okay, so the probability given is 1 by 3. Okay, so we need to know two things. We need to know that number of pens, the favorable outcomes out of total number of pens. Okay, so let us add these numbers: 11, 8, 12 and 9. 11 plus 9, 20, 20 plus 20, 40. So there were 40 pens initially. Okay, now 25 pens are removed. So how many pens remain? 15 pens. Now the question says how many removed pens were green. So we are talking about green pen, probability of green pen, and the probability is given as 1 by 3. So suppose there are n green pens. N by 15 is 1 by 3. So n is equal to 5. But this is not the answer. Now the question is how many of the removed pens were green? Okay. So initially there were 12 green pens. Luckily the option is not 5. Otherwise some of you might have marked 5 as the answer. Okay. So the question is how many removed pens were green? So there were 12 green pens. Okay. And you are left with 5 green pens. It means 7 green pens were removed. Hence the answer is option B. Okay, the answer is option B. Okay, so let's proceed to the next question. Tickets numbered 1 to 50 are mixed up and then a ticket is drawn at random. What is the probability that the ticket drawn has a number which is a multiple of 3 or 4? Now let us also understand this kind of problem. Okay, let's understand this. This is an interesting kind of problem. Okay. So what you are given that you have tickets that have some numbers on them and you have to tell that how many tickets are there such that the number on them is divisible by 3 or 4. Okay. So first of all, we know the total number of outcomes, right? So total number of outcomes is 50. Okay. Now, then the ticket has a number which is a multiple of 3 or 4. So how many multiples of 3 are there? 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 and so on up to what will be the last multiple of 3? That will be 48. So there will be, it is basically 3 into 16. So there are 16 multiples. Okay. Now let's look at the multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 and so on up to 48, which is 4 into 12. Hence there are 12 multiples of 4 as well. Okay. Now the question is how many is a multiple of 3 or 4? But if you look closely, now see what I told you in one previous question as well, you do not have to count twice. You should always count just once. Alright. So if you look at this number, right, 12 is occurring here, 12 is occurring here also. So I am counting it twice. Now let us understand what all numbers are counted twice. So the numbers would be 12, 24, 36 and 48. These are multiples of the LCM of 3 and 4. Okay, so every number which is a multiple of 12 will be counted in this category as well and this category also. So what you need to do is we need to remove them. So there are 4 such numbers that are counted twice that will appear in this list as well as in this list. So you will add these and subtract 4. So how many outcomes do you get? 28 minus 4, 24 outcomes. So number of favorable outcomes is 24 and the total number of outcomes is 50. So probability becomes 12 upon 25, which is option B. Some of you might not subtract this and say that it is 14 by 25, which is wrong. So you need to ensure that whatever you count only once. You do not have to count on multiple occasions. Okay, I hope you got this concept that you have to count just once. Everything should be counted just once. Otherwise you'll get things wrong. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. What is the probability of getting a sum equal or higher than 10 when 2 dice are tossed together? So when 2 dice are tossed together, what are the numbers that you get on a dice? What are the numbers that you get? You get numbers from 1 to 6. So if you get numbers from 1 to 6, what is the total sum that you can get? You can get a maximum of 6 on the first dice and 6 on the second dice to get maximum 12, right? So maximum you can get 12. Now the question is, what is the probability of getting a sum equal or higher than 10? Equal or higher. Remember, it is not only higher, it is equal or higher. So you can get the sum as 10, 11 or 12. Now how can you get 10 as the sum? So you can either get 4 and 6, 4 on the first dice, 6 on the second dice, or 5 and 5. You roll both the dice, you get 5 and 5, or you might get 6 on the first dice and 4 on the second dice. Similarly, for 11 you can get either 5, 6 or you can get 6, 5. And for 12 you will have only one scenario wherein both the dice will show 6. Isn't it? So how many cases you get? You get 3 cases here, you get 2 cases here and 1 case here. So how many favorable outcomes do you have? Favorable outcomes are 6. You have 6 favorable outcomes. And what do you need to find probability? You need the number of favorable outcomes and the total number of outcomes. Okay, so when you throw the first dice, you can get any number from 1 to 6, isn't it? So you have 6 outcomes. When you throw the second dice, how many outcomes can you get? You can again get 6 outcomes in the second dice also. So you have 36 total outcomes. Right? You can have like 1 1, 1 2, 1 3, 1 4, 1 5, 1 6. Similarly, you can have 2 1, 2 2, 2 3, and so on. Likewise, you can have 6 1, 6 2, 6 3, right? So you have 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and 6. 6 into 6, 36 outcomes, right? So your favorable outcomes is this, and total outcomes is 36. Right, so what do you get? You get 1 by 6. Okay, so your answer is 1 by 6. Okay, so let's have a look at the next question. Let's look at the next question and see what it is. X and Y appear in an interview for 2 vacancies in the same post. The probability of X's selection is 1 by 7 and that of Y's selection is 1 by 5. What is the probability that only one of them is selected? And this is a bit tricky question, but let us try to understand it. Okay, so let's try to understand this. Okay, so if you see this, you have 2 vacancies, right? So what will happen? So let's understand the different scenarios. Okay, so first scenario is X and Y, right? So let's call it select S for selected and R for rejected. So one case is both of them are rejected, right? Another case is X is selected, Y is rejected. Another case is Y is rejected, sorry, X is rejected, but Y is selected. Okay, and the last category is both of them are selected. Now, what are we asked in the question? We are asked the probability that only one of them is selected. Okay, so only one of them is selected. It means that we'll have to look for these 2 criteria. Okay, so we'll have to look for this condition and this condition. 2 conditions we'll have to look for. Okay, now the next thing is, now when X is selected, in how many ways can X be selected? X can be selected in 1 by 7 ways. And Y can be rejected in how many ways? Y's selection is 1 by 5. Okay, so he can be rejected in 4 by 5 ways. Okay, so the probability of this event is 1 by 7 into 4 by 5, that is 4 by 35. Now second case, X is rejected. X is selected in 1 by 7 ways, so X will be rejected in 6 by 7 ways. And Y can be selected in 1 by 5 ways. So when X is rejected and Y is selected, you have 6 by 35 ways, right? So basically the probability is 6 by 35. So when you add both of them, because it is this plus this or this. So whenever you have this condition of or, you add these probabilities and what do you get? You get 10 upon 35. Which is essentially 2 by 7. So the answer is 2 by 7. Okay, so you have 2 scenarios. So basically when you look at all the outcomes, you have 4 kind of scenarios and we'll have to look at 2 of the scenarios when X is selected, Y is rejected, and or X is rejected and Y is selected. So we get the answer as 2 by 7. Let's look at the next question. A box contains 4 green, 6 yellow and 8 red balls. If 2 balls are drawn at random, what is the probability that both are yellow? So how would you determine that both are yellow? So let's look at the first one. Okay, let's look at the let's look at the favorable case, right? So if you have if you say the both balls are yellow, first if you pick a ball that has to be six. There are six yellow balls out of total 18 yellow balls. Okay, now you picked a yellow ball. Now how many balls are left? You are left with 17 balls. And how many yellow balls are left? So there were there were six yellow balls and you have already picked one. So you'll be left with five yellow balls. Okay. So what's your probability? Get 5 out of 51. Okay, so this is the way of finding probability. Okay, and then there is another method of combination that we shall discuss someday, and and that is for that you need to understand what is combination. Okay, so the combination, the method says that you have to find the favorable outcomes. The favorable outcomes will be selecting 2 yellow balls out of 6 yellow balls, and your total ways of selection would be selecting 2 balls out of 18 balls, right? So that would also result in the same thing. Okay, so that will again give you the same result, that is 5 by 51. Now this is easy thing to understand. Okay, so let's have a look at the next thing. Okay, so we are done with the questions. I am giving you a question to answer in the comments, right? So we discussed some questions. We discussed different kind of questions, and we saw that like how you could answer those. And here's a question for you. This is a homework question for you. The question says that 2 dice are thrown together. Find the probability that the sum of numbers on the 2 faces is divisible by 4 or 6. Okay, so solve this question, solve it carefully and answer in the comments of this video. So we'll continue with the series. This was the first session of the series. We'll have more sessions coming up, so don't forget to subscribe to this channel, like this video if you really enjoyed it, and share it with your friends who are preparing for BBA and HM Entrance Examinations. So keep preparing with Gradeup and do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get the notifications for all the upcoming videos that we have on our channel. And if you are looking for a paid course for BBA and HM Entrance Examinations, you can enroll with Gradeup Super, and you can call on this number to get details about the course. And not only this, we have a Telegram channel as well. Just go to this, you go to Telegram and search for BBA Hotel Management Discussion, right, and you will be directed to this channel. You can join this channel and get information related to this category of examinations, wherein the mentors will guide you. You will find some valuable information for the upcoming examinations. So that's it from my side. I hope you enjoyed this session, and do join me for other sessions of the series as well. Good night, have a great day ahead, and take good care of yourself. Bye bye.